let's talk about something that drives so many of us crazy. You sleep for 8, maybe even 9 hours, and you still wake up feeling completely exhausted. Well, today we're going to show you how to sleep less, but wake up with way more energy than you ever thought possible.
So, let's start with a question that might just flip everything you think you know about sleep on its head. What if our obsession with hitting that 8-hour mark is totally missing the point? What if the real problem isn't the quantity of your sleep, but the quality?
I mean, we've all been there, right? You get a full 9 hours, what everyone says is the gold standard, and you wake up feeling like you've been run over. But then, some other night, you only get 6 hours, and you jump out of bed feeling sharp, focused, and credible. It feels totally random, but I promise you, it's not.
And that difference, that's the whole secret. It's not about how long you're in bed. It's all about the quality and the structure of your sleep. It's about working smarter, not longer, even when you're completely unconscious.
Okay, so to really get a handle on quality, first, we got to understand the science. Let's dive into the biological truth of what your brain is actually doing when you sleep. So for just a second, forget about the number 8. The single most important number when it comes to your sleep is this one, 90 minutes. That's the average time it takes for you to complete one full sleep cycle.
And inside that 90-minute block, your brain is anything but switched off. It's actually going through this incredible structured process. You go from light sleep down into deep sleep. That's where your body does all its physical repairs. And then you come back up into REM sleep, which is where your brain restores itself, processing memories and emotions. Every single stage has a critical job to do.
And this explains why waking up sometimes feels just awful. You know that heavy, groggy, drained feeling when your alarm clock goes off? Well, it actually has a name. It's called sleep inertia. And it's what happens when your alarm rips you out of bed right in the middle of one of those deep or REM cycles, interrupting a really important process.
So, how do we stop that from happening? Simple. We plan our sleep around full cycles. This little table here is your new guide. Stop thinking in hours and start thinking in 90-minute blocks. If you've got about 6 hours to sleep, aim for exactly 6 hours. That's 4 complete cycles. If you need a little more, go for 7.5 hours, which is 5 full cycles. The whole point is to time your alarm so it wakes you up at the end of a cycle, not in the middle of one.
So, your new mantra isn't get more sleep. It's complete your cycles. Just shifting from counting hours to counting cycles, well, that's the entire foundation for optimizing your rest. It's that simple.
Okay, so we know we need to complete our cycles, but how do we make those cycles as powerful and restorative as possible? That brings us to our action plan, protecting your deep sleep. Now, this right here is a total game changer. Your most physically restorative deep sleep, the really good stuff, is front-loaded. It happens mostly in the first half of your night. What does that mean? It means what you do in the few hours before you even get into bed has a massive impact on your overall sleep quality. So if that early sleep is so important, we have to guard it. And here are the rules. They're non-negotiable. First, no caffeine after 2 p.m. Seriously, it can mess with your deep sleep for hours. Second, no screens for at least an hour before bed. That blue light just kills your melatonin production. Third, make your room a cave, dark and cool. And finally, stop eating big meals 2 to 3 hours before bed. Your body needs to be repairing itself, not digesting a steak. And if you need a reminder why this is so important, just remember this. It's not about the sheer amount of time you spend in bed, it's about the quality of that time. 1 solid hour of deep sleep is so much more powerful than 2 hours of just tossing and turning in light sleep.
So you've protected your night. You've completed your cycles. Now how do you lock in all that amazing energy for the rest of the day? The secret is in what you do in the first 10 minutes after you wake up.
See, it all comes down to your circadian rhythm. That's your body's internal 24-hour clock. And that moment you wake up, you've got this golden opportunity to send a really strong signal to that clock, telling it, hey, the day has started, let's go. And the process couldn't be simpler, but it does not involve grabbing your phone. First, get sunlight in your eyes. This literally tells your brain to stop making the sleep hormone, melatonin, and start making cortisol, which is your natural get-up-and-go hormone. Second, move your body. You don't need a crazy workout. Just 2 minutes of stretching or push-ups is enough.
That 1-2 punch of sunlight and movement sends this massive, undeniable signal to every single cell in your body. And the message is crystal clear. Sleep is over. We are awake. It is time to perform.
All right, now before you start planning to live on 6 hours of sleep for the rest of your life, whoa, hold on. We need a serious dose of reality. Let's talk about the hard truth, the limits of hacking your sleep.
This is the most important rule of them all. Let me say it again so it really sinks in. You cannot hack biology. There are no shortcuts, no tricks that let you defy your body's basic need for rest.
Look, all these strategies we're talking about, they're about getting the absolute most out of every minute you're asleep. But sleeping less only works if the sleep you do get is incredibly efficient and high quality. This is about optimization. It is not a replacement for rest.
And you really don't want to mess this up, because the stakes are incredibly high. Chronic sleep deprivation is seriously dangerous. It doesn't just make you feel a little tired. It can destroy your hormones, wreck your memory and focus, crush your immune system, and cause real long-term damage to your brain. This isn't a game.
So remember, the goal here isn't to conquer sleep or to beat it into submission. The goal is to work with your biology. You can't get rid of your need for sleep, but you can absolutely optimize it for peak performance.
So let's end on this one simple idea. The goal is not to sleep more, it's to sleep smarter. Because when you sleep smart,